Hello everybody, Darcy here. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about what information you need to learn over and above what you already know to succeed in real estate development. Most of us come into this world from the flip and rental Airbnb wholesaling world, and you know this much. Well, we need to learn a whole bunch of new stuff to succeed in real estate development. What got you here won't get you to the next level. Always surprises me that people seem to have no problem spending a lot of money on multifamily apartment courses, but when it comes to real estate development, where you're potentially going to spend a few hundred thousands, even into the millions to develop land and build stuff, we'll just wing it. No, you need to learn some new stuff, and that's what we're going to talk about this week, the information gap. So like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you're getting serious about getting into real estate development, I've got a really great online course that'll teach you exactly what you need to know. This missing stuff we're going to talk about today, but also the steps of how you succeed and how you get into this new world, this new sandbox. So I urge you to reach out if you're really serious about this, and let's have a talk. Email me, book a Zoom call. My links are in the comment section below. But I urge you to reach out and see if real estate development can be the bridge from where you are now to where you want to be and really transform your life. So yes, what do we need to know to get into real estate development and really succeed? We do need to know a bunch of different stuff here. So here's just some of the things we need to know over the next few slides. There's 15 hours of video that I've got in the course, so this is actually just a little sprinkling here. In the flip and rental world, typically we want to just dive right in and find that property. We're kind of looking all the time for property. Here in this world, we need to back up and kind of learn some stuff first before we start the deep dive into finding stuff. So even before we start hunting, we need to know, how do you profit from knowing what zoning, density, usage, and bylaws are? What's that stuff? What is highest and best use? How do you increase the value of land? We're always taught the value is in the building, not the land. Okay, well, if the value is in the land, which it is more and more, how do we increase that? Geographically, where are we going to invest? How do we find places that are pro-development, that are favorable demographics, where they want you, where you're not kind of just let's get to places where they actually want you, that have low city fees, that have quick approval times. How do you become a community expert? So that's one of the keys to succeeding in this world. Of the following strategies, which do you want to focus on? The upzoning, entitlement, paperwork only. That's kind of where you're just doing work on site. You're just changing density, zoning, stuff like that, increasing the value of the land and then selling. You don't have to do work on site. Maybe you want to do the land prep, which is kind of just the horizontal or underground stuff. Maybe you actually want to build the building. Did you know you had a choice? Lots of people don't even know that, right? So which of those do you want to focus on? And you don't have to take every project through to construction. You don't have to finish it like you do a flip. Here you can just kind of move the needle, increase the value of the land, and then sell it off to the next person. Very powerful stuff. Let me tell you a quick story about why this isn't so important. So about over a year ago, a couple of sisters called me. Had a Zoom call. Darcy, basically their background was they'd been working with apartment buildings. They'd owned a couple of apartment buildings, and they wanted to get into development. So they were at this point. They were starting to attract opportunities. They had an opportunity. Darcy, we've got an opportunity to buy some land and put up 42 townhouses, side-by-side townhouses. We've never done anything like this. Oh, and by the way, the offer has to be in 2 days, so help. Well, I helped them what I could, but I said, really, you need to get this information up front so that you're prepared for next time. They didn't buy the course, fine. 3 months later, they called me back. Darcy, we've got another opportunity. We can build a 35-unit apartment building. Help. And I said, well, you really you're getting all these opportunities. You really need to be prepared. So they bought the course. A few months later, this happened. They did find an opportunity. So they found that old building, 12-unit, really old piece of you-know-what, and they're going through the application process to rezone that property and be approved to build an 8-story, 130-unit apartment building. How exciting is that? They're in one of my students taking action videos. But this is why it's important. You got to be prepared before the opportunities come to you, to be proactive as opposed to reactive, and you're just kind of scrambling around. Some other things we need to know. How to find. Okay, now we're actually starting to find that opportunity. You can find a bunch of stuff right from your desk. Not everything, but what can we learn? How do we find stuff just sitting on our desk? Then we need to get out of our safe space. We need to drive the neighborhood to see what else we can learn. Driving for the neighborhood in development is vastly different from what you're used to, probably driving for dollars in the flip and rental world. So do you know what to look for when you're looking for stuff in this world? Once you found something, how do you analyze it? Literally dozens of things you have to watch out for when analyzing a property. It's in the course. I've got a kind of a white paper, several pages long, just very important things. This can cost you a lot of money if you get this wrong, a lot of time. Analysis is different in this world. You're going to need some new spreadsheets, which we've got. Underwriting is totally different than what you're used to. In this world, for example, we don't care about the number of bedrooms or the square footage of that old house because we're going to knock it down anyway. So what are some of the things we do need to care about? This is part of your information gap, some of the things we need to know. What's the scope of the project? How big can it be? So what's currently allowed, zoning density, what's possible? I've got a vision for it. Is it even possible on this land, right? There's numerous entry points and numerous exit points. So what are some of those strategies? Which exit is best for you in this case? And those can change depending on the actual parcel. What is your product? Who are you selling it to? This is like any business. We've got a product that we're going to sell, and who do we sell it to? Now again, that depends parcel to parcel. And how much land do you need for your vision? Again, these are just some of the things we need to know when it comes to scope. Let me tell you another story. I had another potential student call me. I had some land already bought back a few years ago, 20 acres of land. I think it was in Oklahoma, and he wanted to develop. Perfect. We talked about it. He actually already had a meeting with a lender set up the next week. He wasn't ready for it. You could tell. No, Darcy, tell you what, I'll go get the loan, and then I'll take the course. Whatever. Didn't hear from him. 2 months later, I hear back. Darcy emails me. I've been turned down now by 4 lenders. Do you have any suggestions? Yes. You need to be prepared before you go to the lender. Just because you have land doesn't mean they're going to give you a loan. You have to show that you're prepared and you know what you're talking about. So what do you need to have done before you go into a meeting with a lender? Do you have a binder? Whether it's digital or physical, you got to show them that you know what you're talking about. At what point do you even need to get the funding? Equity, debt, what kind of funding is there? When do you need that kind of stuff? Do you know that in this world, it's a lot more opportunities to potentially partner with the seller where you're negotiating on that land? I teach 11 different ways to potentially do that. How do you control the land without buying? These kind of opportunities are available in this world that aren't necessarily available in the flip and rental world. And what are some creative ways to reduce the actual cash you think you need? You know, maybe you think you need this much. What are some ways to reduce the actual cash that you need? How to build your team. There's some new players on our team in development that weren't there before in flips and rentals. So who makes up the team? How do we vet these new players? What's the cost of getting that wrong? Again, the cost in all this stuff is wasted time and spent money. Potentially quite amount of time and quite a lot of money. So you got to get your team right. What are some tips, for example, to negotiating a contract with a builder or general contractor if you're going to go through and build stuff? How do you put projects up for tender? So lots of things we need to know about building our team. All of this kind of rolls back into how do you turn this into a repeatable system? Maybe you do one without the knowledge and you waste more time than you need to and spend more money, but Darcy, I don't really like doing this stuff. I really like development. Let's do it again. Okay, well, how do you turn this into a repeatable system without blowing your brains out on money and time? So again, once you learn this new stuff, you can complete projects successfully every year for the rest of your life. It's very, very powerful. Again, maybe it's just the entitlement part where you're just changing zoning and density, not working on site. Maybe you're doing the horizontal, maybe you're doing the vertical build, but you can do these successfully for the rest of your life once you learn this missing information gap, the new stuff. So if this is for you, if you're getting really serious about development, again, I've got this great course that you really need. You need to get into this. I'll teach you this stuff. I'll teach you the steps right from beginning to end so that you can succeed in this world and transform your life.